Hi, sixth graders. I hope everybody is doing well today. I have on the screen right now our weekly planner, so we're going to look at what we're doing today. We're going to be reading All Summer in a Day by Ray Bradbury. It's a really interesting story, and I think you're really going to like it. We are going to start off today with our genre of the day, which is a graphic novel. This is actually our last one about talking about different genres. So get out your sketchnoting materials. The beauty of me teaching like this is if you need to go get them or get anything, you can push pause. Okay, so push pause anytime that you need a little extra time or catch up on something. I'm going to click over here to my genre tab. Like I said, today we are talking about graphic novels. I know a lot of you really like graphic novels. So a graphic novel is a fictional or non-fictional story that is presented in comic strip format or with a multitude of drawings. One of the most popular kinds of graphic novels is the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, which is not really like in comic book form, but there's lots of pictures, and that's part of the beauty of it. Although the word novel normally refers to long fictional works, the term graphic novel is applied broadly, and it can include fiction and nonfiction. It is different from the term comic book, which is used for a comic periodical, and a periodical is a magazine. So it's not quite a comic book, it's more of a book, but that's that. So some of the examples here at the bottom are Smile, which I think a lot of you have read. Dragon Hoops, that's a new one that just came out, and it's actually nonfiction. It's about this teacher, Jean Luen Yang, who worked at a private school in the Bay Area that had an amazing basketball team and some of their processes going to like the championship and stuff like that. There's also Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and then Awkward, which we have a special guest book talker today, my son Luke. I told him I was going to book talk Awkward because I knew how much he liked it. And he's like, you haven't even read it. How are you going to do that? I'm like, fine, you can do it. So he is going to come here today to talk about Awkward. And then I'll tell you what's next. So come on, Luke.
Okay. Hi. This is this is Awkward. It's really good. It's like that one on the screen. Not like, look how broken mine is. It's kind of crazy. But it's about a girl named Penelope who is in the art club at her school, and then they have like a riot, like, oh yeah, and she wants, like, her club wants this table at this thing called a club fair, which is where a bunch of clubs get together and have like a fair. So but she doesn't get it. So then there's a other club called the Science Club, which pulls like this huge prank that went wrong. So they have to so now they're competing to see which, and they both have to make a project, and they see whichever one makes the best project gets the table at the club fair thingy. And she ends up meeting this person from the other club, the Science Club, named James, and he's like super nice. So yeah, and thanks, bye.
Okay, so that was Luke, and he was talking about Awkward. He's read it multiple times. There's a couple other books in a series too. So at this time, I want you to push pause on your screen. Okay, this is another beauty of getting a pre-recorded message. Push pause, take a few minutes, as long as you need, and go ahead and sketch note graphic novels. All right, so after you have unpaused, we are going to go over to our next part of our lesson today. We are going to be talking about the the story All Summer in a Day by Ray Bradbury. When we talked yesterday about kind of the theme of change and things like that, we also talked a little bit about story elements and what makes a good story. So what if your whole world changed? And so those story things, I just want you to keep in the back of your mind. People often become comfortable in the familiar world of their families, friends, and daily routines. However, people move and traditions change. When your world changes, whether by a little or a lot, it can have an impact on your life. All Summer in a Day, a young girl feels lost in a new place. So while you're reading, and by the way, the link to this is on our weekly planner. It is also right here on this first slide in the slide deck right here. Okay, so some story elements. These are what we're kind of looking for and paying attention when we're reading stories, and in the same way when we are writing stories. We have characters. Those are people who play a role in the story. They can be main characters or supporting characters, any of the characters. The setting is where the story takes place. It's also when the story takes place. Setting in a nutshell is time and place. Conflict is a problem or a struggle in the story. Okay. And then the theme is the message or lesson the author wants the reader to learn. Okay, so that's what we're kind of also thinking about right now. I am going to go ahead and read the story. I'm going to read half of it today and half of it tomorrow. I want you to follow along as I read, okay, on your PDF. That's going to help you learn a lot better and just get the story ingrained into your mind a lot better when you can both read it and hear it, okay? So I've printed off my copy. I much prefer reading off of a paper. It just is easier on my eyes and more comfortable for me, okay? So I am going to go ahead, and I guess I will also click that here if you have not brought up your own yet. Okay, that's not good. Let me go and try it on our link. Okay. Okay, so here is the story that I am going to be reading. Since it's on my computer, I don't think you're going to be able to scroll, so I will kind of scroll as we go. So All Summer in a Day by Ray Bradbury. Ready? Now? Soon. Do the scientists really know? Will it happen today? Will it? Look, see for yourself. The children pressed to each other like so many roses, so many weeds intermixed, peering out for a look at the hidden sun. It had rained. It had been raining for 7 years. Thousands upon thousands of days compounded and filled from one end to the other with rain. With the drum and gush of water, with the sweet crystal fall of showers and the concussion of storms, so heavy they were tidal waves come over the islands. 1,000 forests had been crushed under the rain and grown up 1,000 times to be crushed again. And this was the way of life forever on the planet Venus. And it was the schoolroom of the children of the rocket men and women who had come to a raining world to set up civilization and live out their lives. It's stopping! It's stopping! Yes, yes! Margot stood apart from them, from these children who could never remember a time when there wasn't rain and rain and rain. They were all 9 years old, and if there had been a day 7 years ago when the sun came out for an hour and showed its face to the stunned world, they could not recall. Sometimes at night, she heard them stir in remembrance, and she knew they were dreaming and remembering gold or a yellow crayon or a coin large enough to buy the world with. She knew they thought they remembered a warmness, like a blushing in their face, in the body, in the arms and legs and trembling hands. But then they always awoke to the tatting drum, the endless shaking down of clear bead necklaces upon the roof, the walk, the gardens, the forest, and their dreams were gone. All day yesterday, they had read in class about the sun and how like a lemon it was and how hot. And they had all written small stories or essays or poems about it. I think the sun is a flower that blooms for just 1 hour. That was Margot's poem, read in a quiet voice in the still classroom while rain was falling outside. Oh, you didn't write that, protested one of the boys. I did, said Margot. I did. William, said the teacher. But that was yesterday. Now the rain was slackening, and the children were crushed in the great thick windows. Where's the teacher? She'll be back. She better hurry, we'll miss it. They turned on themselves like a feverish wheel, all tumbling spokes. Margaret stood alone. She was a very frail girl who looked as if she had been lost in the rain for years, and the rain had washed out the blue from her eyes and the red from her mouth and the yellow from her hair. She was an old photograph, dusted from an album, whitened away, and if she spoke at all, her voice would be a ghost. Now she stood, separate, staring at the rain and the loud, wet world beyond the huge glass. What are you looking at? Said William. Margot said nothing. Speak when you're spoken to. He gave her a shove, but she did not move. Rather, she let herself be moved only by him and nothing else. They edged away from her. They would not look at her. She felt them go away. And this was because she would play no games with them in echoing tunnels of the underground city. If they tagged her and ran, she stood blinking after them and did not follow. When the class sang songs about happiness and life and games, her lips barely moved. Only when they sang about the sun and the summer did her lips move as she watched the drenched windows. And then, of course, the biggest crime of all was that she had come here only 5 years ago from Earth, and she remembered the sun and the way the sun was and the sky when she was 4 in Ohio. And they had been on Venus their whole lives. And they had only been 2 years old when the last sun came out and had long since forgotten the color and the heat of it and the way it really was. But Margot remembered. It's like a penny, she said once, her eyes closed. No, it's not, the children cried. It's like a fire, she said, in the stove. You're lying. You don't remember, cried the children. Excuse me. But she remembered and stood quietly apart from all of them and watched the pattering window. And once, a month ago, she had refused to shower in the school shower rooms, had clutched her hands to her ears over her head, screaming the water mustn't touch her head. So after that, dimly, she sensed it. She was different, and they knew her difference and kept away. There was talk that her father and mother were taking her back to Earth next year. It seemed vital to her that they do so, though it would mean the loss of thousands of dollars to her family. And so the children hated her for all these reasons of big and little consequence. They hated her pale snow face, her waiting silence, her thinness, and her possible future. Get away, the boy gave her another push. What are you waiting for? Then, for the first time, she turned and looked at him, and what she was waiting for was in her eyes. Well, don't wait around here, cried the boy savagely. You won't see nothing. Her lips moved. Nothing, he cried. It was all a joke, wasn't it? He turned to the other children. Nothing's happening today, is it? They all blinked at him, and then understanding, laughing, they shook their heads. Nothing. Okay, but, Margot whispered, her eyes helpless. But this is the day the scientists predict. They say they know the sun. All a joke, said the boy, and seized her roughly. Hey, everyone, let's put her in the closet before the teacher comes. No, said Margaret, falling back. And that is actually where we are going to stop today. So we're going to go back to this presentation. I want you in your notebook to jot down these questions. So jot down your answers to them. So when did the story take place? What is the conflict between Margot and her classmates? And why does Margot refuse to take a shower? So go ahead and really think about those questions. We are going to discuss them in class tomorrow when we meet together. All right. So after you have done that, you can push pause right now. You can take a little break. That is it for language arts today. I'm going to go back over to our planner. Sorry, wrong one. And then, so your homework is just to read for 25 minutes. Also, you can go back to All Summer in a Day and reread the story. I highly recommend that. Multiple readings give us a much better understanding. Okay. And then also our graphic novel, or I'm sorry, our genre slides are here if you want to go back and revisit any of those. Okay. So what you're doing now is you are going to jot down your answers and thoughts to those questions so that we can discuss them as a class tomorrow. And actually, I just remembered there's a small chance I might not be in class tomorrow because I have a tentative appointment. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I will post I will email, and I will also post in Otis if I'm not going to be in class, and we will not have a Zoom meeting. But for now, I'm planning that we will. So just plan on that. Okay. Go ahead, push pause for now, take a little break, stretch, write down the answers to your questions. And then when you're ready, unpush pause, and we will be going over to social studies. Okay, back again. Now it's time for social studies. So yesterday we talked a lot about history, uncovering the past. Hopefully you got your homework finished. I am going to be checking that later today. So today we're going to talk about a timeline, okay? And as you can see, just like on our on our language arts planners, we have it right here. So we're going to be talking about timelines today. And then for homework, you're going to work on your own personal timeline, okay? So I'm going to go here to the timeline slideshow. And this you can access on your computer as well, of course. It's in the planner. All right. So a timeline. What is a timeline? A timeline is a linear representation, and linear means that it's in a line, hence the word timeline, of important events in the order in which they occurred. Okay, so this is a timeline of popular social media platforms. I don't know where MySpace is. That was one that I liked. Okay, so in 2002, LinkedIn came to become, and this is kind of like a business website where people can network, find jobs, opportunities, things like that. In 2004, along comes Facebook. Okay, and Facebook, as you probably know, is a social media and social networking platform, and it comes out of California. In 2005, YouTube came along, okay? And it's the first large-scale video sharing website that makes it easy to watch online videos. 2006, here comes Twitter. 2007, Tumblr. That's the one I just never really understood. But anyway, Tumblr lets you effortlessly share anything, post text, photos, quotes, links, music videos from your browser, phone, desktop, email. And then Instagram. It's another one of my favorites. It's home for visual storytelling for everyone from celebrities, newsrooms, brands, to teens, musicians, and anyone with a creative passion. And Pinterest, that's another fun one, is a visual bookmarking tool that helps you discover and save creative ideas. So this is the timeline of when all of these social media platforms came into existence. Chronological means, and we're going to talk a lot about this, and you probably already know, that's when something is arranged in the order of time. So events that happened in a certain time. Your turn. think about your day so far. And I know it's still early, but put the events of your day in chronological order, starting from when you woke up until now. So for me, I woke up, I brushed my teeth, I made coffee, I got ready for the day, talked to my family, came down here and made some videos. Okay, so that's kind of what I did today. So think about the at least 4 things that you've done so far today. Okay, now you're going to be making a personal timeline. You're going to think of 5 significant events that have taken place so far in your life. Being born is probably one of them. Any younger siblings being born, meeting your new brother or sister, a special vacation, a bit fun birthday party, a big injury, moving. You could even do starting middle school. So when you're ready, you're going to think about those things. You're going to log into Otis Assessments and click on the assignment personal timeline. You're going to list your 5 significant events, and then you're going to try putting them in chronological order. So the first thing that happened is first, the last thing that happened is last, and then the other ones go in the middle. And if possible, if you can remember, you are going to list the year each event took place. And if you want to ask your parents or something like that, that's not cheating. Okay, so you can ask if you don't remember, was that 2012 or 2013? Ask your family. All right, so that is your work for today. That is language arts and social studies. So you are now going to work on homework, okay? You're going to answer those questions from All Summer in a Day. You're going to read for 25 minutes your outside reading novel, and you are going to do your personal timeline in the assessment section of Otis. You're going to email your teacher if you need anything at all, and I hope you have a beautiful day. I will talk to you tomorrow, unless I am not there. But like I said, that will be posted in Otis, and I will also email. Okay, guys, have a great day.